Okay, everybody. We're gonna do a full walk tour right now. As you can see, this is our room, and things have gotten into access or something. So, as you can see, we've upgraded something that is totally new, and I'll show you guys here. So, guess what we have? You can see this is called a water filter. What it literally does is it just pours water onto a cup, but sometimes normally a pot would help, but it's too big for that. So what we need is we need something to carry with those heavy equipments just to make sure it doesn't overflow. And by means of that, we will be continuing our tour as we can. Um, as we have over here, this is our kitchen, but normally we still have food that are left in our table. And basically, guys, this is the snacks. First, I want to show you guys these mangoes. Aren't they awesome? And this is called a Chinese snack, which you can literally buy them. And over here, oh shoot, I can't open this. This is literally a cookie, fortune cookie, guys. How cool it is. This just a microwave where to put something like food, mechanism, but mechanism doesn't really have to be put in an oven, sadly, but it's only just for heating access, okay? So as we follow along, we've upgraded our rice cooker, and now it's back to our brand. Consistency. Yeah, things look changed immediately. But we still have this type of contraction, and look at this, y'all. This is where our bun, our stuff that could be heated up, but most likely it shouldn't have to be heated all the way through. It's literally important, and some adults can really help out with stuff that needed to be cleaned out. Like whenever there was food on the table or food are being wasted, that was powered by electricity. Electricity can be doing something that can cause harm to other people. Like whenever they use metal stove, don't touch it, otherwise it might burn yourself. You can ask an adult to help you out with some equipments that are not needed to be organized. And remember, this just for fun. And by means of it, we decided to do something a little bit more inconvenient than just a random tour. But we decided to bring back the snow, although some of my friends hated the snow so much. And I really don't know how things could work out easily. But as a matter of fact, I'm going to show you guys here outside. Look at all the snow melting away. Isn't that crazy? And I'm going to show you guys something. A computer, an outlet, a picture monitor, light, security camera, flowers. I guess many of that. Some of you might be wondering, well, how could this place be affordable when you guys try to buy something that is inconvenient and equivalently positive? So Within all these steps that we've taken of, oh, by the way, I'll show you guys all the clothing. If you look down here, socks are everywhere. I don't know if I could screenshot this properly. And these are the Jets. It looks like NFL actually. You can't even see the brand because it's hidden away. But I'll just leave it for that. And these are the exercise mats, which I can show you guys. But it's legally private, and I can't even show you it. Oh yeah, this is the fish tank. Yeah, cool. All right. I'm gonna show you guys my stuff here. This is called a headdress, but sometimes they call it a headgear, which protects the head from getting hit. Okay. Normally I still have my Taekwondo's lesson, which basically comes from a bag where they store all these clothes for the next previous lessons. I did this lesson since like 4 years ago, back when I was a kid. And now I practically know how to do karate. And sometimes one of my friends actually do go to karate class. And they said that everybody should have taken turns onto doing these type of kicking lessons and maybe doing something that is way more frequently than any other person would do. So it's just that. Within all these stores or schools, it just opens up from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Some of these days doesn't have to be that scheduled, but the professor knows about the upcoming event, the work sites that they've been preparing. It may be something that is going to be a little bit more fun than just having regular education for teenagers or even younger kids. People often go to kindergarten and they won't have any type of survey that they have been taken, but somehow they go on devices and start reading from books to books, and then later on they quit and go on computer just for fun. But as of right now, when we're going to high school, we've decided to take a GED test. And that is very important to everybody. Whenever everybody goes to take the GED test, the teacher will say, "Have you ever done with those work yet?" Or maybe they could understand what they're trying to do. Sometimes they need to focus more so that you can get better grades. If you fail another test, then they won't hire you as an assistant because some of these jobs are equivalent and may need representative. Those State of Union laws may now have to be escorted to whenever acceptable leaders. These congressmen may need to take action because if you were part of the US and you wanted to be successful on your freedom, all you must do is protect the liberty. Like the Washington, D.C., we can assure you that the monument was built a long time ago. Remember that Abraham Lincoln was part of the US. The government said that Abraham Lincoln should be on the $5 bill. It may be acceptable for all these presidents to be a great leader And some point, whether we go direct to the monument, we can understand that not many American people can resuffocate the idea. Within all those matters that they provided with, they can give you the idea of what you're trying to look at. I know some of you might end up in a terrifying moment that not all animals can lead into a hazard. Every animal that they protect can be quite unexpected. But if you want to make it more sustainable, all you should do is take things apart of your action. Because if we don't succeed right away, then this could be into a negative. But if there's something that is positive, we can identify the certain area which goes from A to Z. This matters the fact when our high blood pressure can go through to your body. Because a doctor once said, when you check up on your blood pressure, we can underestimate that not everybody has a fair chance to make people feel sick or at least make them feel abandoned. These incorporative ideas can really help. Within all those years, we can put them into one singular thing, and that is making things as an investment. When you sell an item, make sure that the prices were in the correct order. Because the executive abortion may not realize that everybody has a fair chance to pray through leaders, our hope, and our rescue workers. These teens may need to provide more charity work because every single donation that you guys have funded to may now have a website. Every website that you go to can lead not to a scam, but it can really help out with certain things that can be made just for teens and kids. When you have an event coming up, always make sure to check the date. And by following week, we can understand how people might relate into one thing. Those partnerships were just a matter of use. And the funding of clothing can be directed to a homeless shelter so that we can help out each other through one essence of helping. That God can really help. According to what we know so far, is that not every clothing can be put into one singular charity group. These stations can be switched from place to place because some clothing will be donated to a person that can really relate into one thing, and that is a helpless center. A helpless center can find out many things than just organizing one product. And I want to tell you a sponsor about Liquefied. Liquefied can literally help out with toilets. Even though if you don't know how to poop, then you could just sit on the toilet and just hold for 1 minute so that the poop can come out of your body. if the poop doesn't come out, it's called constipation. Some of these people might understand how liquefied are important as a part of our toilet method. I know you might have one of these products somewhere in Toronto, or maybe a part of your area. If you were in a different state, then you might need to travel across the world to find the toilet dispenser. These can really help out. This is called prime pooping session. There's no any other congestions going on than just having one singular thing. And it's called plunging your toilet. Has anyone plunged a toilet before? I know my family does it. Sometimes whenever the toilet gets dirty, they use toilet detergent just to help out with something. And you should never eat it because it can lead up to poison. I know it's very bad for you, and sometimes you might end up in the hospital knowing that you ate the toilet dispenser. Sometimes there could be soap in it, you know? It's not edible and it's not a cake. Those are just imaginable product. Sometimes you can literally think to yourself how important it is when making things out of AI. Like, sometimes AI can really affect your brain, but sometimes they go into your mind, knowing that things are not real. How could anyone feel a little bit distinguished knowing that most people don't have to feel this way? If you're trying to look for certain items that doesn't need to be belong, then you can just ask a friend of yours so that anybody can try out a certain thing that literally comes up to your mind. So, if you want to help out plunging a toilet, go to Liquefy. And let's get back to the video. So, as I was saying about those products, these can really help. But organizing toys, clothing, food, accessories, and something like that, these can provide many different things too. But what leads up into its own provenance is that they can just reassure not many jobs can be unbearable. It's a coincidence that they can literally take things way, way too far. Sometimes people usually don't share items without permission because what if they try to argue into one singular thing that they would never forget? If I wonder that not most people can usually share, but it's totally a habit and it can affect anybody. I know how hard it is, but you always gotta share. If you try to argue at your siblings, then nobody will be in contact with you. And they put you in a situation with your family knowing that you have an argument with other person that you might know. And sometimes things wouldn't be happening to us all. What if we decided to give up? Based on how we know that the tragedy happens every time, then things wouldn't work out. Every time we go to the store and you see some people we're trying to argue about something that is negative, what can we say? Well, here's the thing. You could say sorry to a person that is right next to you. Or you could just feel regret about it and not talk to a other person with their own feelings. This is called misconception and misjudgmental. Some people might say that high school students should not allow bullies because if they're like 20 or older, then they might just graduate and just leave somewhere without going back to a singular job. Like they can just get an interview and start heading out to your own thing and just get practicing with your community and just practice with your own community skills. And within all this, we can assure you that communication can really work out. But remember, there is no yelling, no eating, and no drinking when people are working. Sometimes you might need to ask permission for a break, but sometimes they refuse to do it. So, what they can literally do is alert the manager or alert the person that you see doing. And it's not okay. But sometimes you have to start over with the things that you might have to do first, and then you can finally have a break. Which is that simple. I know for the fact people literally can't change their minds. They can literally just give up easy. It's not really that hard to do, but regret comes to what's to your mind. But this is really a tough decision than just explaining one thing to another. As you can see here, this water may need flowers. Everything that they have can be grown into one thing, which is called civilization. Have you ever seen the news where one people has fight for civilians? Because Russia and Ukraine were not together. Sometimes they might have to act out whether if the people were lead up into their own partnership. The thing is, not everybody can do the same. They literally go on their own way. Even with having a problem with something, you can't just give up. All you gotta do is think to yourself of an idea. Maybe one day you could literally just rent a house or just buy something that really motivates you. But first, you need to make your own budget plan. Remember the 50-30-20 rule? We already learned that in class as of this year. But you may forget the things that you already studied before. If you're from a different class, then your subject might be different than just any other schools. Some of the schools, the districts might tell you that some important skills can be one thing, but not the same. We all agree that this is a companion. You know, sometimes whenever they have events like this, they tell you when that happens and why that date can literally tell you that those events are really helpful. Everybody can be perfect, but sometimes they can be quite better off. I don't understand why this literally happened to some people, but more than like a whole typical reason than just giving something that is literally impositive and it's not gonna work out easy. But sometimes when you give up on something that you might feel, don't listen to them. They just try to nag you on something. that you really shouldn't be above with. If a person decides to attack you with a golden shield, knowing that the blood comes out from your body, they go like death, which was really satisfied to know about, and sometimes it could lead up into danger. There was that one movie that got killed. It shows like a character, but it's kind of similar to a movie named Marvels. Have you ever seen like a person that tries to save the world? Oh yes, it's Spider-Man. Spider-Man, aka Peter Parker, has literally done a lot of things too. He's done a lot of accomplishments than just saving the whole entire planet. He saved everybody from that disastrous moments that happened in New York City. The trucks and buses literally got stopped by a person or a hero. And it was funny enough to show you guys something that is very unique. And that is protecting our partners and our leadership. Whenever you decide to go to college, you might understand how physics work. And some of these technicians can really help out too. You might understand what their lessons are, but they shouldn't really have to give up easy. They might need to take time and show the teacher what you're doing. And that way it is easier to motivate yourself into putting one single effort. This is why it's very important to you guys when it comes to educating. Getting a job might be a little bit boring, but nah, it gets a lot easier and easier. You may have a trusted adult with you that can really supervise you with everything you have. If you don't know how you struggle with something, ask a person that is working there. Maybe one day you'll be understandable enough just to realize how important it is than just having any other difficulty on learning. But the first thing you have to do is get a job interview. The person that literally asks you a question is called an interviewer. The person that answers the question is interviewee. Now you know how it feels like it whenever it comes to learning.